What's up, guys? It's Dave from Military to Millionaire, and today we're going to talk about how to invest in your thrift savings plan. Now, I messed this up royally in the first few years of my enlistment. Because of this, I have missed out on tens of thousands of dollars that should be sitting in my 401k at this very moment. I don't want you to make the same mistake I did, so be sure to stay tuned until the end of this video. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking in that corner. The Thrift Savings Plan is a 401k retirement fund for federal and government employees. The TSP has some of the lowest fees on any 401k I've seen. Some funds have started to do zero fees, but we'll see how that works out. My favorite benefit of the Thrift Savings Plan is that it's 99% passive. All you need to do is log on to MyPay and set what percentage of your paycheck you wish to contribute. After setting the allotment for monthly contributions, you need to verify in which fund your money will be deposited. I will go into more detail on the specific funds and allocations in a few minutes. There are two different types of 401k plans that you can utilize with the TSP. They each have their advantages. There's the traditional 401k and the Roth. With the traditional, you don't pay taxes when you contribute, but you'll pay taxes when you withdraw your funds. While in contrast, the Roth 401k means that you pay taxes when you contribute, but you won't pay taxes when you withdraw your funds. So what does this mean for you? With the traditional 401k, you are able to write off any income you place directly into the 401k. By reducing your taxable income, you are able to invest more money into the TSP initially. The downside to this is that your 401k will be taxed as ordinary earned income when you begin withdrawing money from it, and there will be more money in it because you were able to contribute at a higher amount, but then again, you'll pay taxes on it. The Roth 401k, on the other hand, is funded with after-tax dollars. This means you put less money into the 401k initially, but none of it will be taxed upon withdrawal. Each of these funds has their own advantages, but the easiest way I can think to help you decide which to use is to answer this question. Do you expect to be earning more or less income in retirement than you currently are? If you plan to retire with a larger income, pay the taxes now with the Roth. If you believe you're earning more income now than you will in retirement, pay the taxes later with the traditional. Now, the blended retirement system. A lot of people are frustrated about the new BRS. But let me show you how awesome this can be for young service members. The dollar value of 5% matching contribution is $178.19 per month during your first year of service if you're in E1. These numbers only include the matching contribution and do not include your 5% contribution. For the sake of simplicity, we're going to assume that you do not ever receive a pay raise during the first 4 years, even though you'll get one every year. This $178.19 becomes $8,553 over the next 4 years. As a side note, that's not including the interest accrued during this period, just the amount contributed. In 40 years, that dollar amount will have grown to $128,078 if you received an average of 7% returns during that time. If you had placed the money in a more aggressive fund and received an average of 10% return, it would grow to $387,000 and some change. Now here's the crazy part. Having $387,000 in your TSP equates to about $1,290 a month in withdrawals at a 4% withdrawal rate, which is recommended, or $15,484 annually. Keep in mind, this assumes that you only contribute to your TSP for 4 years and did not stay in the military. Imagine if you kept contributing for your entire 20-year career, plus the 5% that you are actually contributing. If you stay in the service for 20 years and you retire as an E8, which is about the average, your retirement check is currently $2,500. But if you go with the BRS route, which you all have to now, this will drop to $2,000. But once you add the additional $1,290, assuming you stop contributing after 4 years, in your 60s, you will be doing much better. Now smash that like button if you've learned anything new so far. The other major benefit of the BRS is that you can exit the service after 4 years and take this $8,500, which could grow to hundreds of thousands of dollars, with you. That means the additional $1,200 or whatever it grows to a month at retirement will still be yours. The old retirement system, you would have received nothing towards retirement other than your personal contributions after 4 years of service. It's important to note that the figures above refer only to the 5% contribution, which means you have an additional 5% that you would have contributed and then anything else on top of that, which is why I recommend 10%. In fact, let's get crazy for a moment. If you contribute 25%, so 20% plus the 5% matching, for 4 years, again assuming no promotions or interest, you will have contributed $24,000. In 40 and a half years, when you go to retire, it will have grown to $512,000 at a 7% return, or $1.69 million at a 10% return. At a 4% withdrawal rate, this is $67,000 annually. If you contributed 35%, 30 plus the 5% match for 4 years, again, no promotions, no interest, you'll have contributed $32,000 at the end of 4 years. In 40 and a half years, it will have grown to $677,000 at 7% interest, or $2.24 million at a 10% return. At a 4% withdrawal rate, this is $89,000 annually. Basically, you need to maximize your effort in contributing to the TSP during your first 4 years of service. If you do this, your retirement could already be sufficiently funded at the end of your first term. Now, you would be able to begin investing the money you had been contributing elsewhere, like real estate. With the new retirement system, it is much more important than ever that you understand the various TSP funds where you can allocate your money. Traditionally, your money started in the G fund, which has never lost money, but only earns 1 to 2% interest, which is barely outpacing inflation, if at all. Unfortunately, a lot of us old guys, talking about myself here, didn't know this and left our money in there for the first few years, 5 years in my case. That means I missed out on a ton of interest during the early years of my service, which is the most impactful years for a high rate of return. Luckily, the blended retirement system, the matching portion, will automatically be placed in the life cycle funds, which is a much better scenario, and I believe that it is going to become the default allotment for everything. But make sure you verify what account your funds are going into immediately and change it to something like the life cycle or something more aggressive that you are comfortable with. There are so many different ways that you could allocate your funds. My opinion is that you should place all of your money into the life cycle funds for the year you plan to retire, if you aren't very savvy with various funds. If you plan to retire in the year 2053, then you would use Life Cycle Fund 2050. I suggest this because that fund shifts throughout time to provide the best return in the least likely manner for you. It will be more aggressive when you're younger, and as you get closer to retirement, it will gradually move a larger allocation to the G fund so that it won't be hurt by any market downturns. If you want to put money in other funds, feel free, but the simplest way to handle the TSP is to drop your money in the L fund, and in theory, you could do this and never look at or touch your TSP again until retirement. Now, I'm going to give you a brief list of the descriptions and objectives of the TSP fund, and this is from the actual TSP website. It is quite possible to obtain the 10% return that we've discussed. The G fund is government-backed securities, interest income without the risk of loss of principal. The F fund is government, corporate, and mortgage-backed bonds, mirrors Bloomberg and Barclays. The C fund is stocks of large and medium-sized U.S. companies, kind of mirrors the S&P 500. The S fund is stocks of small to medium-sized companies, mirrors the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the I fund is international stocks of more than 20 developed countries, which mirrors the MSCI and EAFE funds. The L funds, or life cycle, is invested in the G, F, C, S, and I funds, provide diversified portfolios based on your retirement age. These are the 3 strategies for TSP allocations that you need to know about. Please note that all of these numbers are based on the paycheck of an E1 with fewer than 2 years of time and service to date. As you get promoted and you receive the 2-year, 3-year, and 4-year pay raises, I hope that you will increase the amount you're saving, as discussed above. According to a survey conducted in 2012, the average rate of promotion across the Department of Defense looks like this. You get E2 at 0.7 years, E3 at 1 year, E4 at 2.3 years, and E5 at 4.5 years. There is also a pay raise at your 2-year mark, 3-year mark, and 4-year mark, and every other year for the remainder of your time in the military. According to this timeline, the average service member will receive an additional $1,219 a month in base salary by the time he or she exits the service. Imagine if you saved 100% of your pay increases. Even if you only saved 50% of all pay increases, you could be saving an additional $7,300 in just the last year. Here's an example of a mild strategy for saving and investing. This strategy is easy to stick to because it will leave you roughly $862 in monthly spending cash. I would personally recommend starting with the strategy only if you have large debts to pay off. In that case, use as much of your spending cash as possible to pay that debt off quickly, then upgrade to one of the more powerful strategies as soon as your debt is gone. As a side note, these numbers are also as an E1 with less than 2 years time in service. So I would recommend that at a minimum you put in 10% of your paycheck to your Thrift Savings Plan, plus 5% contribution, which is $342 monthly, $4,100 annually, not including interest. I would also put 10% of your base pay into your savings account, which is $163 monthly, $1,965 annually. That is a total put away of $505 a month, or $6,070 a year. Now, without including promotions, pay raises, or interest, as we've been doing this whole video, this is what you will have saved after your first 4-year enlistment if you do this strategy. The total value of your TSP will be $16,400. Total value of savings will be $7,800. And the total combined amount will be $24,280. As you can see, it is possible to save a decent amount of money with very little effort in your first term. Unfortunately, most service members blow their money on expensive, depreciating assets like the cars and motorcycles I bought. You can still enjoy these items without missing out on the opportunities to build wealth. Now, I would be much further along in life financially if I had understood this information and been able to take action on it during my first term. If you want some more information, I recommend you check out my free ebook, First Term Wealth, which I'll link to below, and this will help you learn how much wealth you could build by using the intermediate or extreme strategies. Guys, seriously, this stuff's life-changing. I know it's maybe not the most exciting thing in the world, but it can and will change your life. Hope I helped some of you out. Let me know in the comments what you think. Stay tuned for the next video.